This week on the Umbral Almanac, we dive into the brand new Appalachian horror, Project Songbird. Rather than offering a full playthrough of the game this time, I'm going to be giving a spoiler-free review, showcasing some of the gameplay, and discussing some of the underlying themes. I highly recommend you try the game out for yourself, but if you do want to see a full playthrough or a more in-depth video essay, let me know down in the comments, and who knows, I might put that out at some point in the future. But without further ado, come walk with me and allow me to guide you through the abyss as we review Project Songbird. Project Songbird is a narrative-driven, first-person psychological horror game set in modern Appalachia. A big city musician, aka Dakota, aka Neon Songbird, make the choice to lock themselves away in a remote West Virginian cabin while battling writer's block. While there, they uncover the secrets these woods hold and embark on a chaotic metaphysical journey that blurs the lines between nightmare and reality.
No, I don't want to go there. Not again. I can't.
There are so many great things to say about this game. The graphics are incredible and bring you into a visually stunning Appalachian forest that feels so real in just so many ways. The well-designed environmental sound keeps you engaged in the world and builds tension masterfully. On top of that, the game offers a band-quality soundtrack of extraordinary music to both back the narrative and to aid in building Dakota's character. A character, by the way, that develops beautifully with the story.
When I found you, 10 toes off the ground, it was hard to fight the feeling that you wouldn't be around. Oh my.
With ebbs and flows in both vulnerability and resilience, their personal story perfectly blends with the overarching themes and gives us an important anchor in an ever-shifting journey between realities. Dakota stands out not only for their complexity, but as one of the few non-binary protagonists in gaming. The courageous creative choice to not only include a non-binary lead, but to make them such a profoundly complex character is just so refreshing to see and such a great influence for modern gaming.
Who are you, Dakota? Why do you look so familiar?
Beyond the phenomenal story, the thoughtful approach to puzzles the game takes makes for incredibly stimulating gameplay, even in its less tense moments. Players are forced to remember cues, pay attention to their surroundings, and use complex logic to solve the several excellently designed puzzles throughout the game.
But even a songbird needs rest.
The monster design seamlessly blends with these puzzles to create a push and pull of tension that kept me constantly on edge and brought out some of my most primal fears. There were numerous moments where I found myself literally trembling as I forced myself to progress. I don't know where you're at. Where are you? I can't. Oh my god. Oh. Even through all of this, the underlying tones of Dakota's own psychological fears remain ever present and looming, feeding into the overall plot that eventually culminates in an entirely unexpected moment of intense vulnerability. I don't have much bad to say about this game. My only criticisms can be counted on one hand. The sound mixing, however, is one of the areas that could use some work. For a game that focuses so much on sound, this was a little surprising. As I said, the environmental sound itself was phenomenal, as was the voice work, but the mixing of the two together left a bit to be desired. The vocals were a bit soft throughout the entire game, and even led to some moments where Dakota's words were basically inaudible against some of the more boisterous environmental noise.
The cabin. I need to get back.
Maybe losing some of the vocal story attributed to this, but there were some pieces of the narrative that felt a bit disjointed. The final act, while both immensely fun and profoundly moving, left some loose ends and felt even a bit forced at moments. I'm still not entirely sure how the primary antagonist fully fits in or how they connect with some of the other aspects of the game.
I'm not gonna let you break out of this deal, Dakota. Keep looking, find another door, and make us those last songs. Or do you think you aren't enough for us?
What is clear, though, is that despite the few moments of disconnect, these elements all play together into the final climax, which was both beautiful and jarring. There are a few things to know going into the game. First off, this story is broken into 3 acts, so players can expect a fairly manageable playthrough at about 5 to 7 hours. I would recommend tackling it in 3 sessions, but I'm an absolute madman and I played through it in a single sitting. The game is very narratively driven, so the story flows incredibly well, and the acts act as natural breaks in the momentum. That said, if you're the type that wants to explore the entire forest in a single day, this might not be the right fit for you. Sections of the map remain locked behind event queues, and while some exploring is possible, the player is fairly confined to the immediate objectives. The pacing and the storytelling, however, does a great job of pushing you in the next areas naturally, and there's never really a point that feels restricting if you stick pretty close to the script. My last note is a bit of a content warning. Project Songbird does contain themes of mental illness and self-harm. These topics are a bit evocative at times and may not prove suitable for all audiences. Use your best discretion with this game, and just know that without getting into spoiler territory, the payoff is well worth the price. One of my favorite aspects of the game is its depth. I found myself peeling back layers to uncover an overarching message that connected with me in unexpectedly vivid ways. The game discusses what it means to be a creative, the struggles that come with sharing your work with the world, and the balance between audience feedback and artistic integrity.
Isn't it strange how the trees swallow you?
I was on the verge of tears multiple times throughout my playthrough, and by the end was making breakthroughs that would have taken months of therapy. The developer beautifully expresses his own struggles he encounters while making the game and connects it with the story in a profoundly vulnerable way that I don't think I've ever encountered in a video game before.
Every single time I look in the mirror, I see you. I see us. A shell of both of us.
All said, this game is by far my favorite so far this year. The stunning visuals, poignant story, and expert weaving of puzzles and horror elements more than make up for the few nitpicky faults I managed to find. I highly recommend this game to anyone looking for an atmospheric, narrative-driven, puzzle-heavy horror experience. If I had to narrow this down to a number score, I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. Hey, thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And make sure you hit that bell so you can get notified each time we make a new sacrifice to the void each week. And before you go, leave a comment down below if you have played the game or if you plan to play it. So until next time, folks, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep those shadows fed.